नमस्कार, बियॉन्ड अबेकस की अद्भुत दुनिया में आपका स्वागत है। मैं आपका होस्ट डॉक्टर प्रकाश मोगे और हम आज डिस्कस करने वाले हैं मैथमेटिक्स कोर कॉन्सेप्ट सीरीज में एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट विच इज एंगल्स 2। एंगल्स 2 मीन्स एंगल की दो सीरीज हैं, दो वीडियोज़ हैं, जिसमें से वीडियो 1 वी ऑलरेडी सीन, जिसकी लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में नीचे दी हुई है। और ये जो है इट इज़ द एंगल 2। इन दिस होल सीरीज यू आर फेमिलियर कि हम मैथ्स के कंसेप्ट लेके आते हैं और नॉन टेक्निकल लैंग्वेज में उसको समझाते हैं। और उसमें से आज जो हम टच कर रहे हैं दैट इज एंगल्स 2। इन एंगल 1 वी हैव सीन कि एंगल कैसे फॉर्म होता है, वर्टेक्स क्या होता है, आर्म्स ऑफ द एंगल क्या होता है, ये और डिफरेंट एक्यूट एंगल, राइट एंगल, ऑब्ट्यूस एंगल, straight angle, reflex angle, these all things, and zero angle. These all things we have seen in chapter 1 or video 1. We also saw that how to use protector and what is the use of this protector. These all you can see in the link given below. Today we will see angles which I call as paired angles. Paired angles means you will just see what it means. The first one is vertically opposite angles. Let us see. Suppose there are two lines which are crossing like this. Now in this crossing there are four angles formed. If I name them, if I indicate them like this, suppose by different angles, by different inks, this is one, this is one, and this one. So four angles are formed here, but you will notice that this angle and this angle, these are equal, and this angle and this angle are equal. They are called vertically opposite angle. You know, like this, supposing I am making this particular cross. So this angle and this angle, they are called vertically opposite angle. Why it is called so? The reason is that the two lines, you can see, just a minute. Because they are opposite, like this, and they are vertically opposite because to this angle, this particular point, it is vertex, you will find they are on both sides of the vertex. That's why they are called vertically opposite angle. This and these are not opposite angles. What they are we'll see soon, but these are opposite angle. You know, like there are two lines which are crossing, and you know, like seesaw you play. You see, like this Caesar is not the example. Caesar is an example of acute angle. Caesar is an example of acute angle. It's not an example of opposite angle. So, so many places we see two lines are crossing or two bars are crossing, and these are called vertically opposite angles. Similarly, this, and this will also be vertically opposite. However, there may be angles which are opposite, but they are not vertically opposite. You know, like for example, if we have this parallelogram, now this angle and this angle, these are called opposite angles, but they are not vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite means the two lines must cross and both angles should be on either side of the crossing, either side of the vertex rather. Either side of the vertex, one on the left, one on the right, one on that side, one on this side, like you see here, one here, and one here, and one here. These are vertically opposite angles. So vertically opposite angle means if there are two or more lines, like it is also possible that we have many lines, let us say. It will be very confusing for you, but let me just show you because it's important discussion. Let me show you that now this angle, for example, Which will be the angle vertically opposite to it? Let me color it so that it becomes clear to you. Which is the angle vertically opposite to this? Will it be this? It will be here. This will make your concepts quite clear. Let us take one more example. Suppose I take this angle. Now, which is the angle vertically opposite to it? Now, this angle is formed between which two lines? This line, it can be seen in many ways. So, this is there and this is the. So, like this, vertically opposite angles are made when two lines interact and they intersect. They don't interact, because with only interaction they can make one simple angle. But with vertically opposite will happen only when the two lines are crossing each other. Only then the opposite angles are vertically opposite angles. Let us see some more paired angles. Complementary angles. Complementary angles means what? If this is what angle? By now it should be clear to us that this is the concept of a right angle. This is our 0. This is our 90. Okay. Now suppose there happens to be one in between, there is an acute angle. Okay. Fine. So this is 0, this is 90, and this is something in between. We don't know, whatever it can be. But it is it is more than 0 and less than 90 because it's an acute angle. Now this acute angle, if I see from here, suppose it is 50 degree. Suppose it is 50 degree. Now total is 90. So this is already 50. So how much more I have to cross to reach 90? I have to cross 40. And both of them add up to give 90 degree. This is called complementary angles. So two angles are complementary if they add up to give 90 degree. This is the notion of complementary angles. So supposing I have one more, let us see one more. Suppose I make this angle and I make again 90 degree angle, and I make one line like this, or make an acute angle like this. Now suppose this is 45 already. How much will be this? 90 minus 45. Why? Because they are complementary. When you are going from 0 to 90 and you already reach 45, how much more you have to reach? Another 45. So this is the notion of complementary angles. So two angles are complementary if they add up to give you 90 degree in all. Provided, most important condition is that at the same vertex. It's very important. Why it is so? Because suppose I have one angle like this. Okay, which is suppose 60 degree angle. And I have some different angle. I have some different place, some different angle, which is like this. Some different pair of lines, which is 30 degree. So these 60 and 30 also make 90, but they are non-complementary because they are not at the same vertex. So it is extremely important that at the same vertex and between the same pairs, we have to consider one pair of line will make one angle and its complementary will be 90 minus that angle. That will be called a complementary. So this is the notion of complementary angle, and they are coming always pairwise. You can't have one angle which is complementary only. There will be two angles which will be complementary to each other. Now it's like, let me illustrate to an example. Suppose, let us see. Suppose this is my mobile. Okay. Now this is mobile and this is the cover. So if I take out the cover, if I take this out completely from here, I take it out. So now this cover is of this mobile and this mobile has that cover. So if I remove them, They are different things, but if I put them together, they fit into each other. Why? Because they are complementary. If I take another thing, if I take cover of this pen, it will not fit into this mobile. Because complementary means it's like a pen and its cap. So they are complementary. That cap will fit into that pen only, and that pen will have that cap only. These are complementary. Like in some of the Hindi movies you might have seen that smugglers have one part of the code and the other party has another part of the code. They join it and they make it complementary. So complementary means the two are making a whole, but whole of 90 degree, not more than 90 degree. Okay. What happens for more than 90 degree? We'll see soon. So let us proceed further and understand what the other possibilities are. Supplementary. It is the next extension of complementary, because we are already familiar with complementary. Now supplementary, what happens is the sum of the two angles was 90 degree to make it complementary. Here two angles add up to make 180 degree. Like I have one angle here. Now suppose this angle is 60 degree. So this is my 0, this is my 180. Now what is more, how much more it has to travel? It has reached here to make it 60. How much more it has to travel here to make it 180? 120 degree, because 60 plus 120 is 180. So two angles are supplementary if they add up to give 180 degree. Supplementary angle means two angles which add up to give 180 degree. Let us see. Suppose this is another line and there is some angle like this here. Now this angle is rather 145 degree. Okay. Now to reach, so I have already traveled 145. Now I have to reach this distance. Travel 180 to reach 180. So this will be 35 degree. So 145 plus 35, they make 180 degree. So that is the concept of supplementary angles. However, there are angles which are supplementary. We'll discuss some more ways also that angles can be supplementary. Let us see. If two lines if two lines are crossing are parallel and there is one intersection, there is an intersecting line, transversal. This is called transversal line, which we have discussed in the chapter of line. Now what about these two angles? This will be, suppose, one angle, and this will be supplementary of this angle. These are supplementary angles. Supplementary can be like this also. Like it will be, let me show with some different thing. It will be supplementary to this. However, if you look carefully, they are also supplementary, and so are they also supplementary. So supplementary means total should be 180 degree or total should be a straight line. The sum of the two angles should be a straight line. Like any angle you take this angle, then this angle, and this angle, they add up to 180, so they form supplementary. If we have another case, for example, if you have line like this, if you have angle like this, a very obtuse angle, suppose I take very obtuse, closest to 180, suppose I take this angle. Now look carefully. Now this angle from here to here is almost closing 180. It could be as much as 165, but still it's not 180. So I will need some more distance, I will need some more angle to make it 180. So two angles which add up to 180 degree are supplementary to each other. Supplementary, as I told you, complementary also, these are paired angles. It doesn't happen that one angle alone is supplementary. there will be always two angles which will be supplementary to each other because they are supplementing each other. Like supplementary diet, we hear this word so many times. So supplement means there is something and there is something little more, and together they make the full thing. So you are having one diet, then you are having a supplementary diet. Means if you add up your regular diet, the supplementary diet, that will make the full diet. Similarly, there is a straight line, there is one angle. If you add the remaining angle, it will make 180 degree. So they are called supplementary angles. Let's see some more. What else we have to learn still? Linear pair of angles. This is very, very important and interesting also. Now here you will understand one more term which is a bit confusing because linear pair, let us see what it is. Linear means related to a line and pair means two angles. So if there is a line, suppose this line, okay, and there is one angle here and there is one angle here. So they add up to 180 degree, just now we saw, they are supplementary, but they are also called a linear pair. I will explain the difference between the two. So they are also called linear pair, but they are also supplementary. Like 2 is an even number, but 2 is also prime number. It's like that. So you have this linear pair, but it is also supplementary. It is supplementary because it is adding up to 180 degree, and it's a linear pair because it's a straight line. Can it be? Now we go a little deeper. Can it be that I have many lines meeting at a point like this? Suppose this is the point O, and we have this A here, we have this B here. They are all meeting at O, and let us call it A. This is O, this is B, this is some F, this is some D. Now this angle, okay, this angle is there. Now suppose, let us assume, suppose it is of 50 degree. So together, this and this, they will form supplementary angles, but they will not form linear pair because this line is coming in between, this DO is coming in between. So linear pair means clearly there should be only one, both sides of the angle should add up to 180 degree. That is the linear pair and nothing in between. Like in this case, you see this DO is coming between the two. So that it will make supplementary angle, but it will not make a linear pair. Likewise, if I take little more, some more example. One more excellent example can be this. You have a parallelogram. In parallelogram, opposite angles are equal and adjoining angles are supplementary. Now this angle and this angle add up to 180 degree because they are parallel, they are coincident angles. We'll discuss just now what are those. But these angles are supplementary, but they are not linear pair. So linear pair will be supplementary, but supplementary will not be linear pair. You get my point? Now these angles, just now I am telling you, in this particular parallelogram, this red angle and this angle, black angle, they are adding up to 180 degree by the property of parallelogram. Similarly, this angle and this angle, they are adding up to 180 degree. So they are supplementary, but they are not linear pair. Linear pair will happen if and only if the line, there is one line, there is some angle, and this add up to 180 degree. Both should be on the opposite side of the angle formation at the vertex, one side on the left, one on the right, or up or down, whatever way you say it. It could be like this also. Let us not confine to only simple pictures. It can be like this also. I always like to use different colors so that it's clear to us what we are talking. So this angle and this angle, they are supplementary and they are linear pair also. Why they are supplementary? Because they are adding up to 180 degree. Why they are linear pair? Because they are part of the same line and there is nothing in between. So this is the notion of having a supplementary angle and linear pair both together here. But in this case, you have this angle and this angle which are supplementary, but they are not forming linear pair because now they are not in the same line on the either side of the same vertex. दैट इज नॉट द केस, जो कि इस केस में हो रहा है. इस केस में क्या हो रहा है कि आपका जो वर्टेक्स है इसकी एक एंगल इस साइड है, एक एंगल इस साइड है और फिर भी टोटल 180 है, तो इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? दिस विल बी अ लीनियर पेयर ऑफ एंगल्स. Do I have something more? Let's see. Lot many things are there. Here, please pay attention. It is also another very interesting thing. Adjacent angles. Examples and non-example. Both are very important here. Like I give you example and non-example of linear pair. Here also we'll see what are adjacent angles. Adjacent word, we read adjacent word like adjacent rooms. This room is adjacent to that room is adjacent to the next room. So adjacent means, let us see some example. At this vertex, we are forming this angle. Now this is linear pair. We are quite familiar with this now. And I have another angle also. Now if I call it 1, 2 and 3. Just for simplification. Otherwise angles are called by vertices. But just to make the concept clear. Now the angle 1 and the angle 2, these are adjacent angles. These are the adjacent angles because there is one line between them and they are on either side of the line. This is the concept of adjacent angle. Like 2 and 3, they are also adjacent because they are formed between this line and this line, and this is these are the arms of the angle, and at the vertex there is an angle is formed, and both 3 and 2 are on two sides of this line. So these are called adjacent angles, which are formed in a specific case. 1 and 3 are not adjacent. 1 and 3 are not adjacent because angle 2 is in between. So for being adjacent angles, let us see one more example. Let us make a little more complicated question. Suppose I make one more, and I make one more, I make one. Okay. So what I have done now, I have made too many angles at a point. So let me number them properly, and so that there is no much confusion. This is angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5 and angle 6. Now here we see that for these two lines, these three rather, between these lines angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. Why they are adjacent? Because they are formed by this between two lines and on either side of the line which is meeting them. Like angle 2 and 3 are adjacent, angle 3 and 4 are adjacent, 4 and 5 are adjacent, 5 and 6 are adjacent. There is no confusion about it. But now I ask you one question. Is angle 1 adjacent to 3? No, it's not so, because 2 is in between. Like for example, I have this room and I have one drawing room attached to it, and there is one bedroom attached to drawing room. So that bedroom is not adjacent to this room. because drawing room is in between. Like you have any one wall which is this side, my neighbors are there, so their room is adjacent to my room. This immediate room is there. Says dining room, drawing room is adjacent to my study room. This is my study room, but their bedroom is adjacent to their drawing room. It's not adjacent to my study room. So adjacent means it should be in the immediate. It should be on either side. Like this wall is common, so on both sides of the wall there are two rooms. This is adjacent. But if there is one third room which is beyond, then we can't say it adjacent. The same picture as you are looking here in this particular diagram. However, let us see one more interesting complication. I like to make things with complication also, because once simple things are clear to us, we should have some more complicated examples also. Let me illustrate you the logic further. So I have this 1, 2, 3, and I start numbering them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we are well familiar with this, that 1 and 2 are adjacent, 2 and 3 are adjacent, 3 and 4 are. My question is, listen to it carefully. If I make it one angle, suppose, let me write with black ink. Angle 1 plus 2 plus angle 2. Is it adjacent to angle 3? There is a question. If you treat angle 1 plus 2 as one angle, is it adjacent to angle 3? Yes, it is. Why? Because when I am making 1 plus 2, it has become one angle now. It has become one angle. And this is another angle. So now I can say that this is the line, this is the initial line, this is the dividing line, this is the ending line. So now this 1 plus 2 is one angle and 3 is another angle. So 1 plus 2 is adjacent to 3. But 1 is not adjacent to 3 and 2 is not adjacent to 4. And 3 is also not adjacent to 5. But if you make pair, for example, if I decide to do some magic and I reach something like this, let us take some up facing angle also. Suppose I decide to make this kind of figure. Okay. And I call them once again. Let us begin from here. 1, 2, 3. I will always suggest that you keep changing your angles. Otherwise, we always feel that it should be 1, 2, 3 from this side or 1, 2, 3 from this side. या राइट एंगल सीधा ऊपर ही होना चाहिए. सब कुछ नहीं है. आप दिमाग को अपना खोलो थोड़ा. घोड़े के जैसा मत चलो कि एक ही दौड़ेगा, आँख पे पट्टी बांध के. Okay. Now my question to you, all of you is: Will 5 plus 4, this angle, be adjacent to the angle 1 plus 2? नहीं होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि ये खुराबात है बीच में. This angle is there in between. ये आपको अलाउ नहीं करेगा. However, 5 plus 4, will it be adjacent to angle 3? Yes, it will be adjacent. It will be adjacent to angle 3. One more thing I'll suggest you, that once your concepts are clear, you can do with your friends. Once your concepts are clear and your concepts are also clear, you can play around. You can make difficult diagram. Don't make straight diagram. Make difficult diagram like this, like this, like this. ऐसे आड़ा टेढ़ा कितना भी diagram बनाओ, and challenge each other. That's how you could do it. But what is our condition of linear pair? What is our condition of supplementary? No. What is our condition of linear pair? What is our condition of adjacent angle? That vertex should be common. First of all, vertex should be common. We are talking of linear pair only when they are on the. We are talking of complementary angle only when vertex is common. Then they are called complementary angles. Right. Similarly, here you will talk of adjacent angle only if the vertex is common, and on the opposite side of the vertex, on one side and the other side, and that way I am calling opposite. On both sides of the vertex of the angle making line, you should have the angles which are adjacent to each other. This is the notion of adjacent angles. Otherwise, they are non-adjacent, and like we saw so many of them, like we saw 5 and 3, we saw 1 and 3, we saw 4 and 1. These are all non-examples of adjacent angle. So we should know example, we should also know the non-examples of. Non-example means something which is not the same as you are talking. Corresponding angle. This is another very fascinating idea. Corresponding angles. Corresponding means what? What is the exact meaning of the word corresponding? Corresponding means respective. Okay. Corresponding means respective. You will go to your respective classes. You will go to your respective classes. Means who is in A section will go to A section, who is in B section will go to B section, who is in 9th A will go to 9th A, who is in 6th A will go to 6th A. It is not that you are in 6th A and you can go to 9th A. Respective classes. So similarly corresponding. So in this context we see corresponding angles. What happens is there are two parallel lines. It applies to more also, but suppose we are talking of the easiest case, two parallel lines, and there is one transversal. Now this angle is, let us make one angle like this. Now this angle, these are parallel lines and this is a transversal. Now the first time transversal meeting the parallel line, there is an angle formed. So another first time it is meeting the second line, again one angle is formed. Of course one line can meet another line only once, so first time is no meaning. But still, so what is happening now? You can say it is the angle like this. In the same position, again there will be angle like this. These are called corresponding angles. Like, let us see one more. Like on this side, you will have this. Then, if you have, take one more. Suppose you have this. Then you have. These are corresponding angles. Now, what is left is the last one. So, suppose I have this angle and we'll have this. These are corresponding angle. Why? Because if that line is if you see the first angle like dotted blue dot, then in the same position you will have blue dot in the second line also. So these are corresponding positions and these are corresponding angles. It is not that corresponding angles are in all form like this only. You can have different arrangement, but basic logic will be same. Let us see. Suppose I make 3 lines. And there is a transversal crossing 3 of them. Okay. Now again we go for this. Suppose this is one angle formed here. Now it will have corresponding angle here as well as here. These are all corresponding angles because they are on the same side of the parallel line and they are on the same side of the transversal also. So this is called same position and side. This is called corresponding angle. If I make, say, let me take this angle, this. Suppose I make this, then and likewise and finally let us take which is missing, red. So these are the examples of corresponding angles. So corresponding angle means wherever position whichever position one angle has, similar situation another angle will have, and they will be equal. Corresponding angles are equal in parallel lines. When you are having parallel lines and you are having transversal, so corresponding angles are equal. This is very important property which we are going to use at good number of places. It may come to your mind It may come to your mind that do these form linear pair? Yes, because linear pair is formed when a line is there and on either side of the joining line the angles are there. So they form, these two angles form a linear pair also, and they are supplementary also. This we know very well. Are these also supplementary? Yes, because again line is there, again both sides of the line is there. So therefore, in the same figure, we see so many things. We see opposite angles, like this angle, these two angles will be equal because they are vertically opposite angle, and similarly these two angles will be equal because they are vertically opposite angle. So don't get mixed up by too many nomenclature. Go simple, think logically, and you will always find that mathematics has very strong logical approach. You may wonder that then we need not name so many angles. Very true. We need not name so many. We need not have different things and so many different things, because you see this blue ink I'm using here is as good as this ink. So I can use simply. So essentially, we don't need so many different inks to be used, but because it was being told to you first time, so I introduce you. Now you can understand that many of them are equal angle, many of them are can be represented with the same color. Okay, so this is the concept of corresponding angles. That when two or more parallel lines are there, so whichever position the first angle has in the other line also, third line also, fourth, like there are 100 lines. For example, let us see one more. For example, it's a classic example I'm giving you. We see things every day, but we don't realize the maths behind it. Like you have this, like this. I can't draw, so let me draw simple. You understand what I'm trying to say? You are familiar with this figure? Of course, I have not drawn properly. So this is the this is the staircase CD जो होती है. We use it for so many times. Like we use for coloring heights, and so many times we see. So these are all the electricians come. They come to repair the electrical pole and so many things. So you see these kind of, or you also have to climb up. You use this. So these are equal intercepts. So these are parallel lines. These are parallel lines. These two are parallel, and these all are parallel. So these all angles are corresponding angles. So like this, so many examples are there, and you can understand more with your own examples, and you can create your own examples as well. What lies ahead? Let us see. These are another fantastic co-interior angles. Co-interior angles. Once again, we will reverse to the same diagram which we have been discussing till now. After a while, after you have studied all these concepts, you will realize that there are so many different names, but most of the angles can be named as equal also. We'll see now this. So co-interior angles. Co means, here the word co is used in the sense here the word co is used in the sense consecutive. Consecutive interior angles. What does it mean? Consecutive means one after the other. Like for example, if I had to use the consecutive numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are consecutive numbers, one after the other. They are following a pattern, and they are just coming one after the other. So co-interior angles. And interior means inside. Like let us see. These are two parallel lines. And this is a transversal. Now, interior means between parallel lines. So if you see interior of the parallel line, so let us show with different angles, different colors. So this is one angle in the interior of the parallel lines, and this is another angle in the interior. Okay. So these are called co-interior angles. Why they are called co-interior angles? Because they are consecutive. You see this? You see this consecutive? You see them coming one after the other. In a run. This is one, this is another. So there is nothing in between. Nothing in between. Consecutive. Consecutive interior because they are between the parallel lines. They are in the inside of the parallel lines. So these are called consecutive interior angles or co-interior angles. What is their property? You can imagine, but if you can't imagine, I will explain you also. They add up to 180 degree. The consecutive co-interior angles are what technically called supplementary. Co-interior angles are supplementary. Why it is so? Let us see. You know, by now we are already aware that these two angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. Okay, and they are supplementary because of linear pair. So they will also be supplementary. If co-interior angles are equal, the corresponding angles are equal, like this angle and this angle. Just now we saw. And this and the blue, they are forming the linear pair. They form a linear pair, means they add up to 180 degree. So this blue and this red will also add up to 180. It is as simple as that. So co-interior angles are supplementary, and it is the reason. While I was explaining you something just a few minutes ago, I was explaining you this concept that in a parallelogram, just now a few minutes ago I was explaining you that in a parallelogram, these angles are supplementary. I was telling you that this black and this blue are supplementary. Why it is so? Because this line is parallel to this and it's in a way transversal. So they are co-interior angles. So they will be supplementary. Likewise, this and this, they will also be supplementary. Because again, and so will be this. And that's why they become equal. So all these are, like look like a very big puzzle, but they are not puzzle. They are very, very simple logics. And if you stick to logic, then it should be clear to you like what we are talking. So this is the notion of co-interior angles. Alternate interior angle. This is another very interesting notion which we must know. Alternate. Now, what is the meaning of this word alternate? Alternate means one after the other. Like for example, if I have 1, 3, 5, 7. So what I am writing? I am skipping one and I am writing the next number. So this is alternate number I am writing. I am writing 1, then I am writing 3, then I am writing 5. So I am writing alternate. So alternate means on one side, one you leave and take the other. In angles, what is the meaning of the word alternate? In angles, alternate means you have these parallel lines and you have one transversal. Interior. So this is the interior angle. Now what is alternate? Alternate means this. This side, this is the alternate side. Then suppose you add one more, then it could be something else. But this is the notion of alternate angles, alternate interior angles. Interior means they are between two parallel lines. Alternate means they are on either side of the transversal. Let us take one more example. Suppose I have this and I draw one angle here. I represent one angle here. Now this is the angle in the interior of the parallel line. So I will have to denote another angle here as the alternate. And for this angle, it will be alternate. For this angle, it will be alternate. And they are equal always. Alternate angles are equal. Why it is so? I leave it for you to decide. Of course, it's very very simple. One liner answer is there, but I leave it you to decide that why they are equal and how alternate interior angles are equal. I leave it to you to decide. Okay. So these are the alternate interior angles. Alternate exterior angle. Alternate exterior angles. So what is exterior angle? You have line. So this is an exterior angle. Exterior means outside, outside of the parallel lines. Interior means between the parallel lines. Exterior means outside the parallel line. So this is one, and the alternate is this. These are alternate exteriors. I ask you to think. What can you say about them? Will they be equal or they will be different? Let us plan some more. Let us plot some more alternate angle. Suppose I have this one angle. It's an exterior angle. So now this is interior angle. So I want alternate exterior angle. So alternate means on the other side of the side, and exterior is here. So alternate exterior angles. They are used in different properties of the of different geometrical questions when they come up. So you just need to remember these basic facts. Okay, so I think it was a rather long video, but very very important notions are there, very very important concepts are there. If you come across any difficulty, you are most welcome to put it on the comment. And if you come across some more interesting applications, some more interesting place somewhere else, you have some more idea that where acute angle is used or where parallel lines are used or where supplementary angles are used, I'll be very happy to receive them and read them in the comments. And also I invite you to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel. Also I invite you to look at the various reels and shorts we are making for you on different social media platforms. Okay, so until then, bye bye, see you next time.